Let me give you an example. One time I actually saw almost a revival break out in Eastern Europe with about 70 pastors. They were just on their face, crying out to God, broken over their sin, because I had shown them in the Scriptures that it is not biblical to offer up your wife and your children as a sacrifice to your ministry. That they had always been told that. You know, that's the mark of a man of God. He neglects his wife. He neglects his children. He's always out there doing the work of an evangelist and pastoring and everything. And I showed them painstakingly in Scripture. And God really moved and broke their hearts. But here's one of the things that really got them. I said, the will of God is perfect. And I said, I have already shown you now that the will of God is for you to minister. We saw it in 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus. It is the will of God for you to minister. Over here, in the book of Ephesians and Colossians and Deuteronomy 6, I have shown you it is the will of God for you to care for your wife and your children, instruct them in Scripture, and be there for them. Now, in Romans 12:2 tells us the will of God is perfect. That means if in order to do this, I have to disobey this, it's not the will of God. And so if you're telling me, I don't have time to take care of my wife, I don't have time for my children, why? Because I've got to do the ministry, you are actually accusing God of having a will that is imperfect. Contradictory. Do you see that? It's the same way. A young man sees a beautiful girl who is not a Christian, or a beautiful girl sees a young man who is not a Christian and becomes very interested in that young man. And what does she say? It is God's will for me to evangelize him. Yes, it is God's will for him to be evangelized, and therefore I'm going to date him. No, it is not God's will for you to date him. So you're trying to carry out God's will by violating God's will. If it is truly God's will, it will be non-contradictory. That's what systematic theology actually is, teaching a young man how to think in a non-contradictory manner, according to the Scriptures. So that's the will of God. Does it prosper you spiritually? Is it acceptable to God as He has revealed it in His Scriptures? And is it in harmony with all the other commands?